Folks, I'm now tired of saying drama bin drama. Why? There is just too much drama. So much so that maybe I should be saying, guys, relax, hapa hakuna drama. And maybe that will be one video every 6 months. Now, a visit to the United States by the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya should be a mere formality in terms of the preparation, visas, etc., etc. But in recent days, Deputy President William Samoei Ruto has been preparing for a visit to the US. And it has been high wire drama all the way. Why? Because the new US ambassador to Kenya, Kyle McCarter, last week said the US would not grant visas to corrupt Kenyans to visit the US. And neither would they allow them to pay for school fees, any fees educational related in the United States. Which means that they are not allowed to have their children go to university in the United States. That's what His Excellency Kyle McCarter said. And everybody assumed that he was talking about the Deputy President of Kenya. Now we don't know, but what we know is that the visa application of the Deputy President at the local US Embassy ilikuwa na shida. And we shall come back to that in a minute. First, there's something else which is very interesting unfolding in Kenya and which many have missed. A policeman beat up his girlfriend in Vihiga County. Okay, nothing new with that. People mistreat women in Kenya, and especially policemen. But this is what happened next. She went to hospital for treatment. And the clinical report that was prepared, of course, is confidential. So what does this cop do? He storms into the hospital and with his gun, with his pistol, demands the clinical report. And when it is given to him, he tears it into pieces, thus destroying evidence against him. Now, policemen are experts at destroying evidence. Now, policemen are also experts in the law. Because how do you enforce the law without knowing it? Allow me a fascinating aside. Growing up, I was used to my political lecturer quoting various sections of the law. And I used to get very bored. Until one day, he quoted a section of the law that just floored me. He told me it was a criminal offense to be in the city center, Nairobi CBD, with less than 10 shillings in your pocket. Now, this is part of the penal code that was carried over from the colonialists, to keep Africans away from the CBD. And the reason why that floored me, I had been in the CBD on numerous occasions with less than 10 shillings in my pocket. As a young, naive man, I could picture myself on the front page of the Nation. Young man arrested in CBD. What would my prospective girlfriend say? And those I was trying to impress. It was sheer horror to me. Anyway, policemen know the law. However, in terms of destroying the evidence, these guys are gurus. There was this case of a policeman who was arrested, caught red-handed, taking bribes. And while the arresting officers were zubaring, he took the notes, chewed them and swallowed them. Now, of course, it's criminal to destroy currency, but where's the evidence? But the interesting point here I want to highlight is that medics have complained. They're up in arms, and they're appealing to the government and all authorities concerned to ban policemen from entering hospitals with guns. They want new laws made that will compel cops to leave their firearms at the entrance and then claim them back on their way out. And only allow policemen into hospital with guns under very special circumstances. Like carrying away cash. They're guarding cash or guarding something within the hospital. Now that is a law, a proposed law that makes plenty of sense to me. But it reminded me, the reason why this story got my attention immediately, is that it reminded me of another horror story that unfolded very recently in Nairobi. A couple had adopted a child, a minor. And the circumstances of this adoption were just heartrending. As a toddler, the child spent months in hospital at Gertrude's Children's Hospital. And the bill amounted to over 1.5 million. And this person who was to be the guardian paid it. Anyway, at the end of the day, the adoption was not cleared legally. There was a dispute, and the children's department got the help of the police in recovering this minor. I think 3, 4, 5 years old. And this recovery operation was done with big guns, automatic weapons. What were the cops expecting? Were they expecting some reasonable resistance from the small minor? Or were the parents suspected Al-Shabaab terrorists? This is crazy. Now, if there's one thing I very firmly believe in, is you should not traumatize youngsters. You and I may have done some crazy things in our lives, and therefore we fully deserve what's coming to us. But as children, most of us were protected. So why do you want to mess up the future of a child? Surely, these cops would have just left their firearms in the car. And even if they were still scared and felt threatened by a minor of 4 years old, they would have left one of their colleagues in the car with the firearms, so that in case mambo ikiharibika, they come out with the gun. In case this 5-year-old whips out a pistol and aims it at the officers, they can call for backup. Policemen are of course Kenyans, and they're human beings. My dear fellow Kenyans, just imagine if it was your child. Would you have done the same? And traumatized and scarred them for life? Growing up as a son of a policeman, I know that there are various ways of executing an arrest. The way it used to be done in the old days is that one officer would execute the arrest, and the others would be in the background, well hidden, in case backup was needed. But I have no idea where things changed, because somewhere along the line, things changed, and innocent children are now suffering. Years ago, I was arrested by special branch officers. Now take note of the fact that that is a very serious offense. Yes, I had not stolen anybody's money. Yes, I had not killed anybody. But I was a threat to the security of the state, allegedly. And the officer walked into the office, alone, one officer. And then he greeted me politely, and he said he was a police officer. And he asked if we could step outside to talk. Folks, one police officer, arresting a threat to the security of the state. These days, arresting such a suspect, there'd be tanks outside the office, fully armored cars. There'd be a whole platoon of soldiers, and the people would come to arrest you, would come having their guns already cocked, ready to fire. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but you get my point. Anyway, back to the DP Ruto manenos. Now, according to my impeccable sources, there was no way DP Ruto's visas to the United States were going to be approved by the local technocrats, because the current policy of the United States is very clear. And our dear Deputy President, guilty or not, is in the crosshairs of this new policy. But the Deputy President is a very intelligent man. And you may not know this, he has excellent contacts in the State Department in the United States, courtesy of his bosom buddy, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of Uganda. And so very many people are surprised when the visas were all approved. No problem. And of course the visas were approved after a call from Washington, to Nairobi. And so the Deputy President was all set to leave on Monday, this coming Monday. Then all of a sudden, his trip was cancelled. Now, handlers of the Deputy President want us to believe that it is the Deputy President's camp that cancelled that US trip, which could have been believable, except that a very senior diplomat in the foreign ministry has been sent on compulsory leave. Rumor has it that he approved something without the permission, authorization of high authorities. There are many who believe that those high authorities, so-called high authorities, are based in State House, Nairobi. And it is suspected that because this step was missed, yeah, all the arrangements are suddenly null and void. To put it in another way, the DP's trip to the US was cancelled by State House. Now, of course, supporters of the Deputy President may have, or will definitely have, a different explanation. Because their current explanation doesn't make sense. Yeah, it is claimed that the President and the Deputy President cannot be out of the country at the same time. But we know for a fact that both have been out of the country at the same time, yeah, in recent times. So they need to try another one. Now, in my view, this saga is still unfolding. Yeah, because a few hours ago, today on Thursday morning, in the early hours, 4 a.m., 5 a.m., the two houses belonging to Kiambu Governor Ferdinand Waititu were raided by detectives. Apparently, His Excellency the Governor of Kiambu has two residences in Nairobi, one in Runda and one in Garden Estate. Both were thoroughly searched, yeah, looking for documents. It is believed that the documents being looked for were related to the dodgy budget allocations of the Kiambu County government, where in the last financial year, a whole 973 million, almost a billion, was allocated to the coordination of State House functions. Now, according to Governor Waititu, that particular item, yeah, in the budget allocations is a forgery. Somebody inserted it, with the objective being to finish Bwana Waititu. But my point here is that Waititu is a close ally of Deputy President William Ruto. And that is why I'm saying that this saga, yeah, of visas, etc., may be linked and is still unfolding. Until next time, this is Chris, Kumekucha.